everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Board Game Mechanics. I'm Katie, and with me, as always, is...
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It is Jason.
I know you've heard a lot more from Jason. I'm the one that is not here, as always. I openly acknowledge that.
Life's been busy. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is. I'm sorry. I apologize. It doesn't mean it'll get any better. I just...
No. That's true. Life is throwing some curveballs right now, so it's all good. We'll get an episode out whenever we can. How about that?
Yeah. And because of that, we need to finish our top 100 before it comes to like the next year's top 100, to be honest.
That's true. It's getting close.
It is. It's terrible. And these are all of my favorite games. And I think most of them are not going to be a surprise to many of you. But I'll do anything to get a chance to talk about them. So because of a lot of that, we are going straight to our list, which is, we're already down to numbers 20 through 11. So this is like the final before the final.
Yeah. These are the good ones. These are the big dogs. The medium dogs. The big dogs are next time.
That's true. But, I mean, I love all these games. So Jason's going to get us started with his number 20.
All right, so my number 20 is a game that no one ever wants to play with me, and that's fine. It's from Uncle Marty Wallace. We never really called him Uncle before, but I'm doing it.
What is wrong with you?
The game is called Brass. Now, we have the old crusty one from Eagle Griffin. There's a new version called Lancashire. Birmingham's trash, so don't play that one, but Lancashire is the same game, just with new art. And this is effectively an economic network building game where you're using these different cards to build different types of industry. The industries are going to produce coal, iron, and you're going to use those to ship goods, build ports, and then eventually when they run out of goods, they're going to flip over and they're going to generate points. That's kind of the game. It plays over two eras. There's a canal phase and a train phase. Some of the buildings get removed during train phase. Some of them will stay on the board the whole time. And you're just trying to build the best network, score as many points as you can, the most efficient way that you can. I really enjoy this. I know it's not for everybody. I understand that. But I have a good time with it. It's one that I will gladly play anytime anyone wants to. Not Katie, but anybody else. And I love it. So number 20 is Brass.
Yeah, I hate that game. I've tried. It's just... I don't know. I just can't like it. I just can't. But I do like my number 20, which is a game that got a revamping a few years ago. And we actually have the new edition, which is so rare for us. But it's because the old edition is like super hard to find. And that is Pret-a-Porter or Pret-a-Porter. Sure. It's ready to wear. So this is a game where you're kind of running a fashion empire. So it's everything from designs to staffing to putting on a fashion show, all of that. And it is a beefy, complex game, which I think is why I love it, because there are lots of things to manage. You are managing all those different parts of your fashion empire. It's not just like Rococo, where you're working on making clothes, which I do love. I absolutely do love. I probably will talk about it if I haven't already. But there's lots of things to balance, and like that test of your mind and how are these things that I'm picking at like this stage, even the kind of fashions I'm choosing, where is that going to lead later? How do I need to like adapt and work with that, just to get the most points? I think the new updated version, I like the art of it. It's kind of minimalist in a way, like new school looking almost. No, that's not what I want to say. I don't know what style art you think that is. Like I
don't know. I'm not good at that.
It's like a lot of like no lines kind of.
Yeah, it almost looks like watercolor or something a little bit.
Yeah, like trash polka almost. But it is beautiful. I know there was a time where they talked about retheming the game away from fashion, and I'm so glad they didn't, because this game is just really fun. I think the theme really draws you in, and I think that actually helps you play the game, because you're thinking, okay, if I'm running this kind of a business, these are things I need to think about. And I think that makes it really easy in a lot of ways to teach for a heavier game, and to help you plan what you're doing. Now, is it easy? No. And if you're not used to playing heavier games, it is a lot to take in. I also happen to love this one because I know Brandon hates it, because I can always spank him at this game. So there is that. But yeah, my number 20 is Pret-a-Porter.
Yeah, this is a good game. I can't remember where it is on my list, but I do really enjoy it. It's one that I would love to play again at some point, but again, like Brass, not many people want to play it. My number 19 is a game that I haven't played for a long time, and I need to fix that. It was one of the first games that I played from the Italians, and it's called Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar. And it's effectively just a worker placement game, but the gimmick to this one is you're putting workers out on these big wheels. And as time passes, after every round, the wheels are going to turn, and the workers are going to get to better actions. The longer they sit on the wheel, the better actions you can take. But every round, you either have to place a worker or pull off a worker. So you're always, doing that give and take of when am I pulling this person off and all that kind of thing. And you're trying to build different buildings, move up on tracks, get crystal skulls to give them to as offerings to the gods. Normal Euro fare, but I really love the wheel gimmick. And more games need to do that. And there are a few that do it, and I'm glad that it's becoming a thing. So my number 19... Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar.
Yeah, I do like this game, but we haven't played it for a while. It has kind of a cool gimmick, so it's fun. My number 19 is another really heavy game. I think most of the ones in this list that I have are pretty serious games. And this is, I am almost positive, my favorite Uncle Vital game, and that is the Gallerist. This is actually a really minimalist artwork kind of game, and it's really, this again is another game I think the theme in some ways helps you play, sort of, but you are running a gallery, but not just that, you are also discovering artists and trying to up the value of their artwork, and then you're selling paintings overseas and domestic, and they're do you also do some advertising too, right? I think you can. Not
really. No, there's no real advertising. I guess you can promote the artist. Yeah.
And you get assistance. So this is classic Vital, where you take a main action, and then other people have the option of following you in the action, because you can leave assistants behind, and then reclaim them and use them for extra actions. So while it is a beefy game and there's lots of things to try and work through, you have the opportunity to kind of make more out of the turns that aren't even yours. It is, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it's a lot. But of all Vital games, this one makes the most sense to me, the actions that you're taking. But like most Vital games, I always think, okay, I want to increase this track. How do I do that? Okay, well, I need to go here, and I need to get an artist, and then I need to make sure they're here, and then I need to have an assistant here, and then I need to have this. And each turn almost has 4 other turns that are built up to make it happen, which is a lot for your mind to kind of comprehend and to work through. But I feel like the payoff is really great. I like the look of this game. It uses has kind of a purple color scheme, which of course I love. And it's just a really good game. It's really neat. I think, is this Vincent Dutrait art?
No. Yeah. Ian O'Toole.
Ian O'Toole. I was it's the other really big one. So I think that the art is really good, and kind of, you don't get distracted from what you're doing, and it makes the tiles that are artwork kind of stand out a little more as artwork. So yeah, I really like this game, and it's been a while since I played it, so I kind of want to again. But that is my number 19, The Gallerist.
Yeah, I'll be talking about this one later. I really like this one. My number 18 was my number 1 at one point, I think last year actually, and I still like it. It could go up higher because we just played it not that long ago, and I loved it. and it is Wonderland's War. This is a push your luck game where you're getting these different types of chits that are representing different characters or actions in Wonderland, and you're fighting over these different territories. So you're going to be pulling chits out of a bag. You pull out too much madness, you bust. And it's kind of like a little bit of area control, track moving. But the first half of every game, you're moving around the table, and you're collecting different cards, different chips to put in your bag. So you're constantly making your bag better, taking different actions, making your character's strength better to make it so you start off with more like fighting attack strength in each battle. It's a really fun game. It looks amazing. We have the all-in crazy deluxe one because I'm an idiot. But it looks fantastic. Great art. Cool minis, even though I don't really think you need the minis, but they are nice. So my number 18, one that I can't wait to play again, Wonderland's War.
Yes, I also really like this game. I think I've already talked about it. Maybe. I'm not sure. Again, this is a game where I knew Jason would like it, and I was right.
You were right. You were very right.
My number 18 is another... This game I don't think is as heavy as I think some people think it is. But the problem is teaching it is a pain. And that is Belgian Beers Race. This game is really fun. The theme is, and I mean, the theme is fantastically played out in this. You're going around Belgium, and you are touring these different breweries. You're collecting beer that you find there. You are collecting like coasters and things from these different places. You are trying not to get so drunk that you pass out, but you have to use different modes of transportation to get around. And different modes of transportation require you to maybe be more sober than others, you to take time to do that, it is actually played in units of time over a weekend. But there's all these like little rules, but if this happens, then this happens. And so teaching it is kind of a pain, but playing it like this, your actions are kind of continually the same. So playing it is really a lot easier than it appears on Teach. But getting to the theme makes it very easy to follow. It's like, oh yeah, I want to, go around and toast people. Well, if I drink, then my like intoxication level is going to go up. And of course, like if I get too intoxicated, I can't ride a bike anymore. Or no one's going to want to pick me up on the side of the road because I might puke in their car. Like it just makes sense. And it's just this fun little game. And it's not, I like that it's a race sort of in some ways because it's called Belgian Beers Race. But at the end, it's really seeing how well your like pub crawl was. And I, of course, like that. And again, multi-pass victory on this one, collecting all the certain things. There are these in-game goals that can give you a lot of points. So you can really go heavily in those or really working up on your stats. I always somehow, except the last time we played it, usually it's like on the Friday, the first day, I always pass out. And then when you pass out, you like wake up a little bit later the next day. So it's like so thematic. And I think that just makes it so fun. So that's my number 18, Belgian Beers Race.
The last time we played it, I think the Teach went a little bit better. So maybe
getting better at it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we're getting there. All right. My number 17 is a game that we have everything for, including a really large box. And it is called Wingspan. We've talked about Wingspan a ton. This is a tableau building game where you're trying to collect different birds into one of 3 different habitats. There's air, or I don't know what the types are. Yeah, not air, but like water birds, plains birds,
forest.
I don't know, whatever.
There's trees.
Yeah, 3 different kinds of birds.
Meadow. And
you're trying to play these birds to get like certain types of ways to score to score points. They may score points for being in certain sections. They may want to be next to other kinds of birds. They may give you some kind of opportunities to eat other birds, which means take a card and tuck it under. And on your turn, basically you do one of 4 things. You play a card, you lay some eggs, you draw some cards, or you get some food because you need food resources to play your cards down. And you're just trying to play birds to score as many points as you can over the course of, I think, like 5 rounds. The interesting thing about this is in round 1, you have all the workers. You have the most workers that you're going to have in round 1. By the last round, which is either 4 or 5, you're down to not as many workers, and every action becomes way more important than it did in round 1, which is kind of a cool idea, but can also be frustrating because at the end I want to do a whole bunch, and I can't. But I get why. So, great game. There's Wormspan, there's Finspan. Wormspan's fine. For my money, Wingspan is better, which is why it's on my list. So that is my number 17, Wingspan.
I do like this. I think I already talked about this one. I don't know. It's good. We played this one a lot, and the more I play it, it's just one that I do enjoy coming back to because every play is different. And just, again, multi-pass victory. I love that. My number 17 is a pretty hefty game. I believe this is the Italians, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I mean, the box art in itself is enough to make you want to play it. That is the Voyages of Marco Polo. I have not played this one.
The box makes me want to play it. You're right, it does.
Is this my man's art, or is this just...
I think it's not Clemens.
Oh, yeah, it's the other guy that looks a lot like his.
Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look it up while you're talking.
I actually haven't played Voyages of Marco Polo in a while, and that's really sad because I think it is not as difficult a game as maybe it sometimes looks, because it is another one of those games where there's lots of different areas for you to do things, and you're using dice as like not as workers, but to like sort of pay for your actions. And there's lots of different sections of the board. You're moving around kind of following like the voyage. You are like getting goods, trading them, doing all these different things. You're also trying to get at places like before other people do, because you don't have to pay extra to go in the same spot as them. So like you really can go to pretty much any spot, but you just have to pay more for it. And then everyone has these really awesome like player powers that all feel like overpowered, but they're not. They're just different. And I think having those different ways to kind of go into the game makes it really interesting, helps you kind of devise your own strategy. And again, multi-pass to victory. Because I haven't really found one where I'm like, oh, well, if I'm Marco Polo, then this game is so much easier and I can always win. I just really don't think that's true. I think each one gives you an awesome advantage that you want for yourself. And then you see other people's and you're like, oh, I want theirs too. Because it really is this fun, like trading, like... I think the theme is a little bit thin on this one, but I think just trying to go to spots and make your way to get points in kind of your own fashion makes this a really fun game for me. So that's my number 17, The Voyages of Marco Polo.
So the artist is Dennis Lohausen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's up there with Clement Franz. His art might be a little bit like more realistic, I think. Mm. I mean, I use that term loosely, but yeah.
There's air quotes around that.
Yes, correct. But yeah, I love this game. I play it on Board Game Arena all the time. It's so good. You can play a game in Board Game Arena in about 10 minutes. It's amazing. All right, so my number, what are we on? 16 is a game that we've had for quite a bit. We have everything for this as well. Well, not everything, but most of it. Worker placement game about Vikings, and it is called Champions of Midgard. And this is one, like, when you think of a worker placement game, this is one that gets brought up a lot. This and Lords of Waterdeep. Pretty normal worker placement, go to a spot, collect the thing. The interesting thing about this one is you're collecting dice, and you're using dice as different workers, as different types of Vikings. There are a bunch of different colors of dice. They all do different kinds of things. They have different probabilities of hits and blocks and stuff. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to send those Vikings out to attack different beasties that are on the board. There's like sea monsters, there's a troll, there's Draugr, and then there's like these mountain people. I forget what they're called. And so you're sending your meeples there, and then you're going to be assigning your dice there as well, and then trying to kill the bad guys to score points, collect sets of different color cards. And if you're in the expansions, which you should play with, if your dice die, you get these tokens and you can cash them in for some really cool things. Score more points, extra bonus actions, all that kind of thing. Great game, super fun. My only complaint is it might be a little long, but outside of that, I still have a good time. So my number 16, Champions of Midgard.
It is really fun. The more you play it, the more I like it, and I like it with all the expansions and stuff. My number 16 is a game that surprised me. Is this a Stefan Feld?
It is. You're a Feld fangirl.
I don't mean to be, but the games of Stefan Feld that I really like them. And Amerigo, my number 16, is no exception. I really didn't start playing this until pretty recently. Like maybe just a couple years ago. And I know we've had it.
Yeah, I think it was a couple years.
We've had it for longer. I had never played it. This game kind of has a gimmick, I would say, with the Tower of Cubes, but I think it's really great because you are like on your turn, like these cubes are coming out of the tower, and the colors that they are dictating the different types of actions that you can take, and also like the quantity of that action. So you're kind of moving ships to explore these different islands and setting things up on them in sort of an area control kind of way. Also like collecting these little tiles are going to give you points at the end, which I love because I don't love area control, but I love in-game bonuses. So like balancing those two, and some of it you're just at the mercy of what cubes come out, and then your ability to kind of use these like different upgrade tokens that allow you to either sort of break the rules or do things like in a better way is also like a good way to use your turns and to create incentive for the end of the game so that you can maximize your points. I love that. I think this one is a pretty straightforward game, and I don't know, there's something just so fun about it. Like I love thinking about, okay, like which action am I going to take? Because if there's several different colors, I could choose, and like which one is going to give me the most benefit. Like I like that little puzzle. Also not a looker, Amerigo. I don't know who does the art of this, but it could be Lohausen or Clemens Franz because it's not great.
It's probably one of them, honestly.
I'm going to look it up, but I would not be surprised. But it is a really fun game to play. So it's my number 16, Amerigo, which is a recent to my top 20 for sure.
It's neither of them, but it looks like both of them.
Well, here I am as wrong, as usual.
Yeah, the nice thing I like about Amerigo is it always feels like you can do whatever you want. You can take any action that you want until you can't. Like
Right.
There's always that one time when, I can always do whatever I want except this time. Yeah, it's a fun game. All right, my number 15 is another Martin Wallace game. I like Martin Wallace considerably more than Katie does.
Considerably.
There's like two games that Katie really likes. But my number 15 is, I don't know if it's my favorite one. I can't say that with certainty, but it's up there. And it is called London. And we have the first edition of London, which comes with a board. There is a second edition that does not have a board. I've played both, and I think first is better. But in this game, what you're doing is you're basically building a tableau in front of you, which is representing your city of London. Okay? There's like multiple different cities of London. The theme's weird. Just go with it. And what you're doing is you're trying to be as efficient as you can to run all these cards that are face up in front of you to produce as little pollution as possible. Every time you run a card, it's going to produce pollution. Some of the cards will negate pollution. Some of them will give you money. Some of them will give you other cards, give you other points, other kinds of actions. And there's also this board that you're trying to build in different sections of London. That for every section that you've built in, it's also going to reduce your poverty when you run your city by that number of sections. So if I have 6, I run my city, I reduce my poverty that's created by 6. And then you're just trying to have the most points at the end of the game, and whoever has the least amount of poverty gets rid of all their poverty, and everybody else gets rid of that much poverty as well, and then you lose points for all the poverty you have left. There's loans, like every good Martin Wallace game. There's ugly art. This is probably, the cards on this game are like the worst looking cards I've ever seen in my entire life than this first edition one, and that's saying a lot because we have a lot of ugly games, but this one is up there in ugliness. But the game is fantastic. First edition is amazing. Second edition is okay, in my opinion. But it still will scratch that same itch if you're looking for it. So, maybe my favorite Martin Wallace game, maybe not. But it is number 15, and that is London.
Yep. I like that one a little bit more than you. It's one of the few Murray Wallace games I do like. My number 15 is a game that we played wrong a bunch of times, and I know Jason's already talked about this because he said the same thing. And the fact that I still really like it is a testament to how good of a game I think it is, and that is Alma Mater. This is another of the Italians games, I do believe.
Yes, that's correct.
And I wanted to play it simply because one of the pieces are these little books, and I love books, and little books as like supply in a game. You're winning me over right there. So Alma Mater, you're kind of running this university, and you're getting like teachers and recruiting students, and like gaining knowledge, and like the books of different, like this game is, it seems like, oh, that should be easy, but the balancing of like your books and other people's books, and this knowledge is getting passed around, and like having them on these shelves is actually very difficult. But I really love that. The theme for me is great. I love the artwork on this. This feels very much like Lorenzo. It has that kind of a look to it, like Lorenzo, but like Coimbra. So maybe better than Lorenzo. Like if Lorenzo and Coimbra had a baby, it would look like Alma Mater. But this has like a lot of really great mechanics in it. A lot of like you trying to get your, almost like an engine in some ways, like your cards and things to work in a specific way that's really going to help you out. Getting these bonuses from these different like professors and students that are going to help you gain the most points. And again, multi-pass to victory. This one doesn't get played as much either because probably we played it wrong so many times. But I'm pretty sure the last time we played it, we got it, and it was really great. So my number 15, Alma Mater.
Yeah, I like this game. I talked about it before. It's one I'd like to play again. Maybe it'll be like the second time we played it right. So that's fun. My number 14 is actually a game that I've played a couple times since I've made this list, which is nice. And it is called Orleans. And we have a couple expansions, which base game by itself is on this list, even without the expansions. And this is a game where you're pulling chits out of a bag. I seem to love that. It's a thing that I enjoy. And you're trying to use those different chips that are going to represent different kinds of workers. You're going to have knights and sailors and farmers. And you're going to put them on your little player board that's going to activate different actions that you can take. And you're going to be moving around the map of Orleans, and you're going to be visiting, or wherever Orleans is, I have no idea. You're moving around the map, and you're trying to visit these different cities and collect tokens of like goods along the way that help you score points. You're trying to move up on all these tracks. Majority of the game is just moving up on tracks. You got to move up on tracks to score points. You're trying to send your tokens off to this separate board that's going to help you get some extra points in these little people. And you're just trying to be as efficient as you can with what you're doing to try to have the most points at the end of the game. There are events that happen every round. Most of them are bad. Some of them are okay. You're always spending money or getting a plague. Some people can die, all that kinds of stuff. But it's a really fun game. It's Clemens Franz, so you know we love that. And pulling stuff out of a bag is my jam. So that's my number 14, Orleans.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've already talked about this one or not, but it is good. We just played it not too long ago, and I was like, yeah, I like this game a lot. My number 14 is a game by a designer that I hate. It is so ugly, and I love it so much. And that's London. Jason already talked about it. Almost the only Marty Wallace game I like.
You like Toledo.
And yeah, that and Toledo. Also ugly. Absolutely ugly.
Toledo looks better than London does, though.
Sort of. Because it's got like little gems that you can use.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but Jason said London, you are creating this engine that I love that's balancing, like trying to get some points while generating poverty. We're trying to decrease poverty. Money is always hard to come by. You're looking at these ugly cards. There is a newer version that doesn't have a board. That version sucks. Anyone who tells you different is wrong. Fight me on it. But there's something.
It looks better. I'll give it that.
Well, anything. Again, Toledo looks better than London. Okay.
That's true.
But there's something so great. Like, there's just such like a delicate balance that you have to try to maintain. Like, you don't want your city to be too big, but in some ways, like, I mean, you want to run a bunch of cards so you can get, like, it's just a lot of, again, pretty easy actions. Like, you're taking cards or you are running your city, basically. Like, that's really it. But those simple actions like come like as such difficult choices, and I really love that in a game. And again, multi-pass victory, you can make your city big and like deal with poverty in a different way, or you can make it small and run it a bunch of times. Like, there's lots of ways to do this, and I think that's what makes it so good. So my number 14 is London.
Yep, good game. I already talked about it. My number 13 is another game that's in a big box, and we have, I think, almost everything for this. We're missing a few cards, and this game is called Everdell. And this is a worker placement game where you have these adorable little critters, and you're trying to collect different resources to build a tableau in front of you of different types of buildings and little critters to live in those buildings. You're going to these different locations with your worker to collect resources, money, all that kind of stuff, draw new cards. You're either going to do that, or you're going to play a card in front of you into your town, and the town can have so many cards played down. You're trying to get different bonuses from these cards. Some of these cards work with other cards to produce extra bonuses. Sometimes if you build the building first, then you can play one of the critters down for free as long as it has the proper building. So fun. All the expansions, most of the expansions are good. Some of them I like better. Some I won't play without, but you can just play the base game and you'll have a ton of fun anyway. So my number 13 is Everdell.
Yes, this is good. We've been playing this a lot more, and I do like some of the expansions make it really great. My number 13 is a game we haven't played in a while. Maybe we played it not too long ago. Maybe not.
Yeah, I played it at Nerdapalooza, but I don't know if you did or not.
Oh no,
I don't think you did.
I didn't. I watched you guys play it. I was near it. The game is Iki. This game is beautiful. And there's an old version and a newer version. I think we actually have the new one, correct?
We have the old one. We played the new one. That's the one Chris brought over.
The old one has like very stylized Japanese art. So this is like going along the street, which is in Tokyo. It's now Tokyo. It was called Edo. But you've got all these little shops. And so Iki is really about kind of getting your different like workers into different shops. You are buying from them. There's like set collection. There's like this idea is a philosophy of like helping people live well. There's like a sort of a rondel, I guess. You're doing this track. There's some drafting. You're owning things. You're trying not to let, like, once you own a shop, you don't want it to burn down. Your people can retire. It's just a really interesting thing to manage. And I really love this kind of theme. I love the look of it. I just wish, I also was looking at some of the pictures they have on BGG, and someone has like these adorable little pawns that are painted like little Japanese figures for the people they use, or there's like someone who has kokishi dolls as their like workers, and I kind of want that because I think that would make this game even better. But it's I don't think there's a ton to keep track of, but you are trying to figure out when is like the right time to do some different things, and how far are you going to move along the street to get where you need to be in order to make other things happen, because that is moving the game forward. That is kind of, moving some workers more towards retirement. And it's just a really great kind of balancing act type of game with what I think is a very fun theme. So That's why it's my number 13, Iki.
And the old version and new version play basically exactly the same.
Right.
They just have different art styles. The new version makes it a little bit easier to play because there's a player board that lays out some stuff, but it's the same game.
Sure.
So my number 12 is a game that we have a couple expansions for, and I would love to play this more, but I hate teaching this thing. And I'm not good at teaching it, so there's that too. But the game is Trickerion, Legends of Illusion. And this is a game about old school magicians, like early 1900s. And you're trying to learn tricks, and you're trying to perform the tricks, and you're going to do that through worker placement. The interesting thing about this is you're going to have different types of workers that have different powers, like actions, number of actions that they can take. You, the magician, can take 3 actions wherever you go, but you can get these little peon guys, assistants or whatever they're called. They can only do 1 action, but at different locations on the board, some of the locations will give you an extra 2 bonus. So if you send your little weak guy there, and if you can get there first, you can get the extra +2 action. That sounds easy enough, but before you even can place your workers, you're doing some programming with these cards of where you're going to go, which workers you're going to send to which place, and the order in which you're going to do it. So you're trying to plan everything ahead, hope that somebody doesn't mess you over first before you can get there and ruin your whole entire plan, and ultimately learn tricks, get them on the stage, and perform them to score a bunch of points. There's way more to it than that. That's an oversimplification, but at its heart, that's how the game works. I love the art. I love the theme. I like everything about this game. Takes up a ton of room on the table, which is kind of a bummer. We have expansions that I don't even know if I'll ever play because the game's beefy enough as it is, but maybe someday. So that's my number 12, Trickerion, Legends of Illusion.
I do like this game, and you and I played it several times because I know it's one that you like, and I actually, for the most part, know how to play. So it's not that... you don't have to fight teaching a new person, but yes, there's just a lot of stuff to kind of keep track of in that game. And again, we probably won't play with all of it because it's enough to keep up with the base game. My number 12, again, another heavy game, a game by the Italians, and a game that I really love, and that is Newton. Newton has a theme. I don't think it comes across very well. And I don't think it matters to know the theme, actually, in order to play the game, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's moving on tracks. That's what you're doing.
You're like a young scientist or whatever, or I don't know. But the thing about Newton is it has several like different areas that you can do with different things that you can like use on your turn. And so you're using these cards in your hand to perform one of these many different actions. And the actions can kind of chain into other actions, which I think is really great. And at the end of like your turn, there's like, I don't know, 5 cards that you play in your, in that like a round. You take all of the cards back, but 1, and that 1 stays out. And it means that you give up a possibility of doing the action in the future, but it also like gives greater strength to those actions. So you can get new cards as well to perform these things. Like there's this bookshelf that you're working on filling that's on your player board. Not really like a tech tree, but as you are like moving things around, you're like scoring these bonuses from where they're placed. There's like this almost like you're like traveling on this map. I believe it's of Italy, I would guess. And then there's like this, it's almost like a flow chart of like knowledge basically that you can also move up as like another action that can be taken. The thing about this, again, multiple paths to victory. How you manage your cards and what cards you take is all up to you. Chaining actions to allow you to do other actions to give you other benefits is what's really great about this. And those things just really sing. It's not a looker. I mean, it's not the worst. Again, like, obviously, I don't care if a game... That's the thing. I would say I love pretty games, but all of my favorites are pretty hideous. This one is by my boy Clemens Franz doing the artwork, so I gotta hold that down. But there's just a lot of really great strategy to this. That action retrieval, kind of building your deck a little bit, like in-game bonuses and like stacking actions. It's all these things that I really love. So that makes it my number 12, Newton.
All right, my number 11, more Italians, more Clemens Franz. There's a lot of Italians and Clemens Franz on our list. And this one is Grand Austria Hotel. Honestly, if I played this more, it'd probably be higher because I love this game, but it's been a while since I've played it. We also have the expansion Let's Waltz, which I've played by myself, but we haven't ever really played that with actual people. But in this game, what you're doing is it's a dice drafting game, and you are trying to collect. You're getting customers into your restaurant at the bottom of your hotel, and you're trying to feed them the food that they want. Each of the restaurants is a certain color, and then once they get all the food that they wanted supplied to them, they're going to provide you some kind of bonus and some points, and then they want to go sleep in your hotel room. The trick here is you have to have the proper color hotel room open and ready to go for them to be able to stay into it. So you're trying to construct hotel rooms, open them up, make sure you have space for these people that you're getting to come into your hotel to eat. There are green guests as well that can go in any room, so you're kind of looking out for that as well. There's bonuses for putting rooms in different locations. The higher up in your hotel you go, the more expensive they cost, but they're worth more points when they're closed. You're trying to close different like patterns of colors. That gives you the different bonuses. And my favorite thing is every couple rounds, the Emperor comes to town, and if you don't do something that he wants you to do, he's going to slap you around, and it's bad times. So you're always trying to move up on this Emperor track to keep him happy, all the while doing all the other things that you're trying to do. So tons of good stuff that's going on. Typical Italians, the way that they like to roll, and Clemens Franz. So that's my number 11, Grand Austria Hotel.
I really love this game, and that will be made clear later. My number 11, my last one for Jay's list, is also a pretty hefty game, but it's so good, and that is Distilled. This game I drooled over for so long. We did not back it on Kickstarter. I walked by the Paverson Games booth like so many times, thinking about it, and finally I convinced Jason to just let me get it. So in this game, you have been given a distillery by one of your dead relatives. And what I love is each person kind of starts with a different distillery, with a different specialty kind of spirit that you make. And then you're going to spend the rest of the game learning new recipes for other spirits, bottling them in specific types of bottles, and selling them. You're trying to kind of gain some kind of like fame and different things, meet different goals. And the interesting thing about doing, like, you're managing all the different levels of running the distillery. So you are getting your basic ingredients. You are working on things like getting bottles to put them in, people to help you run things, upgrading your distillery itself, learning the different kinds of recipes and getting better versions of what you're making. On top of that, the thematic portion of this, I think, is so great, because as you're gathering these ingredients, when you go to create a recipe, you're going to actually generate the spirit itself. You're taking the ingredients that you're going to put in it, and like a recipe will require certain things, but it's not just like an automatic, like, oh, we've made it because we got, all the ingredients in the recipe. You might want to actually put extra ingredients in the recipe, because you're going to pull out a card from the beginning, because anytime you make spirits like that first stuff, it's not going to be good. And then you're going to pull one out of the end, because this kind of the dregs that are left over, they're not good for drinking, but you can use them the next time that you make a spirit, which again, you're saving, then you're going to save that card, therefore, for the next time that you make something, or you distill something, which I think is amazing. Like, it's so great. Different people have different types of spirits they want to make, and like kind of what you start with maybe lends you to stay in a certain area, certain like alcohols that are made with the same types of ingredients because you're keeping back some of them from each distilling, but you also get points for making like some of the more complex ones, and so learning different ones and being able to sell them, having the advantage of that is, and like some need to be aged longer, like, ugh. And then we got like there's a little expansion which gives you all these other recipe cards, all these other different types of distillers that you can be, that give you different stuff, like you, I keep saying like, but you just have so much here that it's really hard to feel like you're playing the same game over and again, because it changes every time with the different cards that you're playing, the different recipes that you use, the different distillers that you have out. It's so very good. I really love it. So that's why it's my number 11, Distilled.
Yep, that is a good game. All right, so I'll count mine down again just for a recap. My number 20 is Brass. 19 is Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar. 18 is Wonderland's War. 17 Wingspan. 16 Champions of Midgard. 15 London. 14 Orleans. 13 Everdell. 12 Trickerion, Legends of Illusion. And number 11 Grand Austria Hotel.
And number 20 is Pret-a-Porter. 19 The Gallerist. 18 Belgian Beers Race. 17 The Voyages of Marco Polo. 16 Amerigo. 15 Alma Mater, 14 London, 13 Iki, 12 Newton, and number 11 Distilled. And that is numbers 20 to 11. We are almost at the final episode, the top 10. And I feel like a lot of the games I know I really love were in this section. A lot of my heavy games, a lot of the Italians, a lot of my boy Clemens Franz stuff. So I honestly don't, there's maybe 2 I can think of that'll be in the top 10, and I don't remember what the rest are. So it's going to be a surprise to me too.
It's all party games for you.
It's all like war games, area control games, and abstract games. That is my top 10.
Yep. And Brass.
Surprise. Spoiler, Brass is number 1. You never saw it coming.
Yep.
So much so that I didn't see it coming. But thank you all for hanging in there, for being willing to listen to us wait around, for me especially. I do try to like read stuff that's posted on Facebook. Jason giving me kind of updates of what you guys are saying on social media. And I really love that, because everyone I've met through doing this podcast and having this channel has been wonderful. And that's my favorite thing about this. So even if I'm not recording a podcast or on the podcast with Jason, know that I'm thinking about you guys and I want to do it. It's been a rough couple of months since January. So I'm working on getting better. So thank you all so much. And if you have a top 20, like let's say you're like, oh, top 100 is too much. A top 20, I mean, that's not too many games. Or put together your top 10, because I would really love to hear those. I love to hear about new games and what you're playing, and also what you think about the games in our numbers 20 to 11.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I'm going to keep doing some videos. I'll probably do some solo podcasts so we can keep some content rolling. But yeah, and we'll try to get to the top 10 before too long, because we know you're waiting. We know you're waiting. You've been waiting for an extra 4 months. That shouldn't have taken this long. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get to it. We promise.
Yes, I do. I will do better. But until then, I've been Katie.
And I'm Jason.
Keep gaming, everybody.
Keep gaming.
I feel like I talk for so long by myself that surely by the time I stop and like throw it back to you, you will have something to say, but you never do.